All right, so I'm gonna make salsa. So as you know, I've already made the cactus, the nopales. I'm marinating my pork ribs, and I'm gonna make the salsa that is going to go along with it. So I've just got here, you can see this, I've got 6 plum tomatoes, 1 jalapeno, and 1 serrano, and that's what I'm gonna do. I've also got 2 limes and my handy dandy cilantro. I stole this thing from my mom. I have one, but I use them so much I decided to reappropriate hers and make it mine. So I just washed my cilantro the other day, and then it's perfect because it has this little hole so it doesn't get all bad. And this will stay in here for a few days with no problem. So I'm probably gonna use about half of this, maybe a little bit more in the salsa. It depends on how much yield comes from those tomatoes. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and chop this up. Actually, I have a bowl to put my salsa in, but I'm gonna get a bowl for the seeds, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I like to make my salsa and not use the seeds. You can use the seeds if you want to. It makes it more watery, which is fine. I just kind of go over the top, down the sides. And I use the middle. I don't waste the middle. I actually use the middle for stock. So, and all this juice, I put it in a baggie and put it in the freezer. So I'm gonna go ahead and dump that in this bowl here. You can see that, hopefully. Okay, and then I'm just gonna dice these up. And I just like them to be, you know, they don't have to be perfect. Again, not all your cooking needs to be perfect little slices. Yes, sometimes it's nice to have pretty stuff, and that's great, but we're making salsa. Pico de gallo, to be exact. And we're gonna be adding that to our tacos. And you don't need a lot, and I think that 6 tomatoes is more than enough. This way we have it for leftovers at a later time. Okay, so again, this is my tomato, my little trick here, not to get the whole tomato. You can kind of stick your finger in there and, you know, pull that out if you want to. And just put it inside the bowl. Oops, clingy, clingy. And scrape that out, but I really don't, you don't really need all of that. And then just kind of cut that, put it in the bowl. You know, some people call that a garbage bowl. I call that a soup stock bowl. That's gonna make a nice vegetable stock, which I can use later, so. And I don't know if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see my soup stocks on there. A lot of times I put them in recipes because it's, you know, you're not paying any extra money for stock. And yes, I do buy store-bought stock, but hey, I'm gonna have 6 tomatoes that I can turn that into, and some onion skins that I can turn that into stock, and it doesn't take very long at all. That is all 6 of my tomatoes in my bowl. Okay, so I grabbed my onion, and I'm gonna take off the top and the bottom because I'm gonna use the top and the bottom in this bowl for my stocks. So see, I got that in there. I'm gonna cut this onion, and I'm not gonna use a lot of it. Oh, I'm gonna cry in a minute. You see all that milkiness? Oh, it's going to be a tearful moment. So I'm gonna take off the outside layer, and I take off this extra one even though you don't have to, this extra layer, you just have that skin. I take that off. I put it in that bowl for my stock as well. Then I'm gonna go ahead and make my slices. I cut them really thinly. See, about that thin, as much as I can. All right. So I may not need all of that, but usually about half of an onion is what I use, and then I just kind of turn it around. Okay. And they're small little dices. All right, so I'm gonna actually mix this together really quickly. Let me grab a spoon just to kind of see the ratio of the red and the white. And I think it needs a little bit more onion. And I'm not measuring this, you know, I'm just kind of eyeballing it, and then I'll taste it and I'll see what it tastes like. But I feel like this isn't enough onion, so I'm actually gonna add some more. Now you can add, at this point, you can add garlic as well. Sometimes I do, it just depends on my mood. I think for what we're having with the nopales in there, I don't think that we really need any more garlic because I put quite a bit of garlic in there. So you wanna layer your flavors. And I am going to start on, actually, my lime, because I want to get this marinated. Actually, gonna grab a fork and show you how I squeeze this. I kind of poke it a couple of times in the middle, and then I just sort of squeeze it and let all the juice kind of come out. We are done. So let's go ahead and you see how much lime is in there, how much juice is in there. It's a lot of juice. You're gonna, I really want the juice to mix in there so that it starts to kind of take that sharp bite of the onion out and just leaves the onion just so much more gentle on the palate. It's not too bad where, you know, you get that bite and you say, oh, there's too much onion, it's too sharp, it's too hot. Sometimes people think that onion is hot. And we're gonna go ahead and cut up the jalapeno and the serrano now. So you don't have to put both peppers. I like putting both. I just like the flavor. And then just these thin strips, and then I'm gonna cut really small. See, just nice little small slices. Add that in there. Okay, so you can see that is a lot of peppers in there, right? But I'm gonna mix it up and just kind of see what it is. Again, we like it spicy. Don't forget, I still have to add the cilantro into this. So, okay, I don't think that's too much because again, adding the cilantro in there. What I am gonna do is I'm probably gonna take about half of this serrano and use it, maybe a little bit more than half, and put the rest aside. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this as much as I can there, and then I'm just going to cut little rings. And I want to taste this because I want to see how hot this is. Oh, it's hot. Oh, wow. Ooh-wee. Yep, I'm on fire. Oh, goodness gracious. That is good. So I'm just gonna add that in there. Yum. I'm gonna mix that up. I'm gonna add my cilantro. You can rough chop your cilantro and add it in there, but I actually like it pretty fine. And I use the stems and all. I know some people don't like cilantro. If you do not like cilantro, don't put it in there. But if you like cilantro, use the stems because these little stems are where the flavor is. Just cut them up small. All right, so I'm just finishing up my cilantro here. And I am, see, I still got like this little big piece, which I would love, that's fine, but I'm gonna make sure I cut this up. So I'm just gonna chop it. And so when my kids are learning how to cook in the kitchen, I teach them, you know, best thing to do is learn how to chop. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need to go to culinary school to learn how to chop cilantro. I mean, my mom didn't go to culinary school. My grandma didn't go to culinary school. I don't think anybody in my family did. But we know how to cook. So it's about learning how to cook, learning how to slice and dice on the cutting board, and just playing around. And again, it doesn't need to be perfect. You're okay. It's okay if it's not perfect. It will still taste good. You know, there are certain things that you need to do. Like I want this pretty fine like that. So when I put it in there, nobody's getting a huge bite of cilantro, right? But that's about it. It doesn't, you know, just kind of rake it together, right? Clean off your knife. Rake it together, kind of flatten it out is what I tell my kids, and just do little baby steps across the cilantro. That's it. Do it again the opposite way, and do that until you get the size that you like. That's it. So we're gonna add that in here. And I know people say, you know, make sure that you don't add too much cilantro to your salsa, but it really depends on what you like, and taste it. You know, if you're not sure, taste it. Okay, so we're gonna mix that in there. Look at that, I think that looks absolutely perfect. And I'm gonna mix this in. Before I salt it, I'm going to let it sit for a little bit in that vinaigrette and that lime, just to kind of see what it tastes like with the lime and the cilantro. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and test our pico de gallo to see what it tastes like. Remember, I didn't salt it. I just wanted to see what it marinated like. It's been about 5 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and test it and see. Oh, that's really good. Oh, it's spicy. Oh my gosh, it's super spicy. Okay, so I'm gonna add some salt. It doesn't need a lot. Okay, I think that's more than enough. I got a little heavy-handed there. I'm just gonna mix that up. This is gonna be phenomenal once it sits. You can leave it out on the counter if you want to. But if you like it cold, you can put it in the refrigerator. Just mix in that salt really well, and you're done. You have your beautiful, yummy pico de gallo.